Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Xavier Smith, and today I'm going to be talking about molecular compounds and how to name them from like symbols, and then how to get the symbols from the names. So, to find out if something's a molecular compound, you're going to look at your periodic table and say, okay, are these two things non-metals? That means they are to the right of like a little staircase after the transition metals. And if they're both non-metals, then you have a molecular compound. And then if you're just given two elements and you're not given like IF5 or whatever, the closer like an element is to like fluorine at the top, that is the one that will likely be like the second in the list. Okay, so that part doesn't matter too much. You usually wouldn't get just two elements and have to find something. So these are really simple. If I say oxygen difluoride, what do you think it is? Well, if you were to just write it out, you might say, well, oxygen's O and fluorine is F, and there's two fluorines, so OF2. And you know what I would say? I'd say you would be correct. It's that simple. If you don't know these prefixes, like if you don't know penta or hepta, you might want to go watch my video on prefixes. That's just a quick thing. It's just prefixes 1 through 10. It'll help you. Then phosphorus, penta, bromide. Well, phosphorus we know is P, and then penta bromide is 5 bromides. So PBr5. Then nitrogen triiodide. Well, this is Ni3. So another thing to note that I didn't put down is the first element, if it is 1, you wouldn't say like monooxygen difluoride. You would just say oxygen difluoride. It's like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So if I said CO and CO2, you would call this carbon monoxide, CO. You wouldn't call this monocarbon monoxide. You would just say carbon monoxide. So the first element, if it has, like if it's just 1, you don't say mono. But if it's 2, you'll say di, 3, tri. But if it's just 1, just say the element. And then the second one always has a prefix to it. So even if it's CO, it's carbon monoxide. You wouldn't say carbon oxide. Okay. And then CO2, you'd say carbon dioxide, not monocarbon dioxide. Okay. So N2O5, now that we know that a prefix will go on the first one if it's not 1, we have dinitrogen pentaoxide. And then something interesting is a lot of times when you have oxygen and you tried saying like pentaoxide, you would just condense it and say pentoxide. It happens a lot with oxygen. It's just you don't want two vowels next to each other, but you'll see like triiodide. You're like, why is it not triiodide? I don't know. There's not too many reasons to it, but it just doesn't sound very good with oxygen. But you could also argue triiodide doesn't sound good, but we still use it. So it's not wrong if you say pentaoxide, but I'm going to say pentoxide. Okay, and then IF5, we're not saying monoiodide. We're saying, well, this is iodine. Iodine pentafluoride. Okay, and then P4O6 would be tetraphosphorus. And then this would be hexaoxide or hexoxide. So notice that the second element has the "ide" at the end. It's like instead of saying oxygen difluorine, you say oxygen difluoride. You don't say oxide difluoride. So the first element stays normal name. It's not oxide, it's oxygen. It's not bromide, it's bromine. But then the second one is "ide." So yes, you wouldn't say like carbon monooxygen, you'd say carbon monoxide. Or carbon dioxygen, you say carbon dioxide. So the first element stays the same. The name is the same as it is on the periodic table. Then the second one, you change it into its ide form. Okay, and then our last example is P4S10, which would be tetraphosphate. Oh, tetraphosphorus, sorry. Tetraphosphorus, and then decasulfide. Okay, so it is simple as that. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and good luck.